I'm James Lafferty and I'm on FrConventions. Yeah. I do remember the audition process. I remember the audition process pretty well because there were so many auditions. I think I ended up auditioning about 7 times just for that role of Nathan. And I went to my acting coach for it. I didn't grow up in Los Angeles. I grew up 2 hours outside of Los Angeles. So I ended up like staying the night in LA for a few nights just to go to each successive round of auditions. So it was a pretty intense process, but now that you mention it, I don't think I could remember my first day on One Tree Hill, but I can remember the last day of the pilot. It was when we finished shooting the River Court one-on-one scene. That was the very last day of shooting on the pilot, and we finished the day. It was a night shoot, so we only had until the sun was going to come up. That was when our day was over. And so we were basically racing the sun, and it was just a really fun day of shooting, or night of shooting, and it was we got the last shot off right as the sun was coming up, and it was on the River Court. It just felt like a really special setting, and I remember thinking, I hope we get to come back. No, I didn't expect it. I did not expect it. I don't think I had been working at that point for long enough to know that it's rare for a pilot to get picked up and go to series, and it's even more rare for it to go past a first series. So I didn't have high expectations. I was really grateful for the opportunity that was right in front of me. And I didn't know what it would be. I didn't know what it could possibly be like to be on a show that went for so long and meant something to fans. I'd never had that experience before, so it was unimaginable to me. And even when we were shooting the show, we knew that it was popular, but we didn't know, I think, the effect that it was having on fans at the time. Even it didn't take. I think it took until years later for us to realize, oh wow, this show actually means something to people. So it's really wonderful, and especially being here in France, we really never imagined that it would make an impact outside of the United States. So it continues to be kind of surprising and wonderful. Yeah, absolutely. Yes, for sure. I think, shooting in Wilmington, North Carolina was a small town. There was only so much to do. So in those early days, we all hung out with each other a lot. And then eventually we made our own friends in town and found our own sort of ways of living life in that town. But in those early days, we were spending a lot of time together because we just didn't know much about the town, and we were working a lot. We were working 15 to 17-hour days, so we were always with each other anyways. And I think that really contributed to the chemistry that we all had, because we all, got to know each other very, very quickly. Well, yeah, I think the thing that stands out the most is the fact that, Haley helped Nathan become a better person, and I think that is one of the things for me that was so wonderful to play and unexpected, because I didn't know when I started the show. For all I knew, Nathan was going to be a villain forever, or he might just be on the first season and be out because he was a villain. But to see him make that turn and the effect that Haley had on him was really special and wonderful to play. And so, I think it was really cool to see, how he continued to evolve from there. But that turn was unexpected to me and welcome. I have no idea. I can never come up with songs off the top of my head. When the Stars Go Blue or something? Is that what it's, yeah? There you go. did see it as an opportunity to go back to that, original Nathan. He sort of regresses a bit, and I welcomed that opportunity because it had been so long since Nathan kind of had that edge, and you always kind of felt like it was just beneath the surface. So to have it sort of come out in that way, and then again have Haley, be the one to wake him up from it, was pretty neat. Oh wow. Let's see. Yeah, I mean, I guess I would say, make sure you're always paying attention and learning, and I think it was pretty good at doing that, like in reality. But I think I would tell my younger self to start experimenting earlier. Start pulling together friends that want to be filmmakers and start shooting your own stuff earlier. And I think that that would have been it would have made the whole process, I would have learned more faster, But yeah, and I would have reminded myself to just keep having fun. It's mind-blowing. It's completely mind-blowing every single time. It's not ever something that we take for granted. It's something that we're thankful for every single time, because we don't know. I feel like every single time we do a convention, whether it's in Wilmington or it's here, we feel like it will be the last one, because to us it is exceptional that it has even continued to find an audience for this long. But it just keeps going, and it feels like whenever we come back, we're meeting new people. It's mostly new people. So yeah, I mean, every single time it happens, it just feels like a gift, and we really don't know how it keeps going, but we are grateful that it does. It's so wild, but yeah, we're all, we are over there in the green room, and we're talking about it all day, just how awesome this is. And we're so grateful to be able to travel the world to do it, but also get the time to spend with each other. This wouldn't happen. We wouldn't be able to get together like this if we didn't have this bringing us together. So that's another reason that it's just so wonderful. It's always awesome to go back to Wilmington as a member of the cast, and as someone who was on the show, but also just for me personally, because I felt like I grew up there. It was the first place I lived outside of my parents' home, and I lived there for almost 10 years. And I made a lot of friends there, and I think I had a life there that is always going to be there, and I feel like it will always feel like another home that I will go back to. And then to be in town when there's so many fans there who I know are feeling like they're on the set of the show, because you can't walk around that town without feeling like you're in Tree Hill. It just feels special. It feels like they get to live a little bit of what we experienced shooting the show. And it feels wonderful that Wilmington has embraced it, and it's good for the city. Yeah, all of it just it feels pretty great. Yeah, it's fantastic. It's honestly a dream come true, and everybody on everyone is doing great. Like, we all bring things to the table in front of the camera and behind the camera, and to have Stephen and myself and Alex working so closely together when we've all been friends for so long is truly wonderful. And that's another thing that we don't take for granted. We're always preserving our relationships first. And then the show, I think, comes from that comfort that we have with each other and that we prioritize. And I think it just provides for so much chemistry, like in front of the camera. Like, you can't really cast a decade, 15 years of friendship. Like, you can play it pretty well. You can fake it like we did on One Tree Hill, But I think we had so much time to spend together before we even started shooting. There's just a sort of shorthand and like an unspoken sort of chemistry that I think is it just comes off. You can feel it in the show, and so it's great. So we have actually in season 2, which is not out yet, it's completely finished. We're looking for the right home for it. So France, if you want to see it, call us. We have 2 guest stars from One Tree Hill in season 2, which we were really excited about. Well, I can just reveal now. We have Brian Greenberg is coming back, or coming onto the show, and we have Robbie Jones on the show as well. And so, yeah, it was really awesome to have those guys come to set. We tried to get a few others, but for our show, it's an independent TV show, and so our schedule was kind of dependent on like the grace of our friends coming in to help us out and what their schedule was like. So theirs were the schedules that kind of happened to work out, and we were really grateful to get them. And you know, I think we're going to be working in some more Easter eggs as we move on to season 3 and 4. You know, I think Everyone Is Doing Great is my dream project. The more we do it, the more I'm realizing that it is. And you know, it's interesting how it's sort of mirroring life. Like we really based it on our experiences, you know, coming out of a hit television show and expecting that level of success to be sustained, and what happens when life doesn't live up to that expectation. The show's about the comedy in that, which we think is kind of universal. We think everybody's faced that at some point. But now we've actually started to kind of predict the future, and we've realized with our second season hints at what happens when an audience like wants a reboot of a show, and how does the cast, what are the different ways in which the cast reacts to that, and how do they feel about that. And now this whole One Tree Hill reboot thing is bringing up those same questions in our actual lives. And we shot season 2 a year and a half ago or something. So it's just bizarre. And so the more things like that start to happen, the more it makes me feel like we are really onto something truthful here. And I think my dream project is to continue doing this for 2, 3, 4 more seasons.